For decades, Americans believed that reaching $3 million meant they had won the retirement game. No more financial stress, no more worrying about money, no more fear of running out. But in 2026, something surprising is happening. A growing number of retirees with $3 million, $4 million, and even more are delaying retirement or questioning whether they'll truly have enough. So what changed? Did millionaires suddenly become poor? Not at all. The real problem is that retirement has changed faster than most people realize. And today, we're going to look at the 5 financial forces quietly turning what once felt like a fortune into something far less secure. Let's begin. Section 1. The $3 million illusion. Let's start with a simple question. If you had $3 million invested today, would you feel wealthy? Most people would say yes. But retirement isn't about how much money you have. It's about how many years that money must support your lifestyle. 30 years ago, retirement often lasted 10 to 15 years. Today, many Americans retire in their early 60s and may live into their 90s. That means your retirement savings may need to last 30 years or more. You're no longer funding retirement, you're funding an entirely second lifetime. And that's where the math becomes much more challenging. Because even a large portfolio can face enormous pressure over 3 decades. Section 2. Inflation is the silent thief. Most retirees don't lose money because of a market crash. They lose purchasing power, and that's often more dangerous. Imagine spending $100,000 per year in retirement today. If inflation averages just a few percent annually, those same expenses could become dramatically higher over the next 20 years. Your grocery bill rises, insurance premiums rise, property taxes rise, utility costs rise, healthcare costs rise. The problem isn't one expensive year. It's thousands of small increases compounding year after year. And eventually, retirees discover that the lifestyle they planned for is no longer the lifestyle their money can comfortably support. Inflation rarely makes headlines inside retirement portfolios, but over decades, it quietly changes everything. Section 3. The healthcare shock most people underestimate. Now let's talk about the expense that destroys more retirement plans than almost any other. Healthcare. When people calculate retirement expenses, they usually focus on housing, travel, and daily living costs. But healthcare behaves differently, because healthcare costs tend to increase as people age. More specialist visits, more medications, more testing, more treatments, and sometimes long-term care. Even retirees with excellent insurance can face substantial out-of-pocket expenses over time. One major health event can instantly change the financial trajectory of retirement. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Most retirement calculators still underestimate how much healthcare may cost over a 25 to 30-year retirement, which means many people are planning with numbers that are already too optimistic. But healthcare isn't the biggest risk. The next one is even more dangerous. Section 4. The market risk nobody can control. Imagine 2 retirees. Both have exactly $3 million. Both retire at age 65. Both spend the same amount. Yet one remains financially comfortable for decades while the other struggles. Why? Timing. If a major market downturn happens early in retirement, something called sequence of returns risk begins working against you. Your investments fall in value, but your bills don't stop. You still need income. So you're forced to withdraw money from a portfolio that's already shrinking. That combination can create damage that takes years to recover from. Sometimes it never fully recovers. This is why retirement isn't simply about average investment returns. It's about what happens when life and markets become difficult at the wrong time. And unfortunately, nobody knows when that moment will arrive. Section 5. The new retirement lifestyle. There's another assumption many Americans get wrong. They believe spending will naturally decline after retirement. In reality, Many retirees spend more than expected. Travel becomes a priority. Family support increases. Home upgrades continue. Hobbies become more important. Comfort becomes more valuable. And retirees often discover they want to enjoy life while they still have the health and energy to do so. There's nothing wrong with that, but it means retirement spending often remains higher for longer than originally planned. And that creates additional pressure on savings. The real lesson. So does this mean $3 million isn't enough? Not necessarily. For some Americans, it may be more than enough. For others, it may not be enough at all. Because retirement success isn't determined by a single number. It's determined by lifestyle, spending habits, healthcare needs, longevity, taxes, and how well a retirement plan adapts to change. That's the lesson many people miss. The goal was never to reach a magic number. The goal was to build a system capable of surviving uncertainty. Final thought. And perhaps that's the biggest retirement myth of all. That one number can guarantee financial security. Because security doesn't come from having millions of dollars. It comes from knowing your money can withstand inflation, healthcare costs, market downturns, and decades of unexpected challenges. In 2026, $3 million is still a remarkable achievement. But it is no longer an automatic guarantee. And the Americans who understand that reality today are the ones most likely to enjoy a confident retirement tomorrow. If you found this video helpful, subscribe for more retirement insights designed specifically for Americans who want to protect their wealth and retire with confidence.